Everybody at the beginning of this year got brand new privacy policies from all their cloud vendors. Nobody read it. But what that said is we can use your data to train our AI model. But then if you ask most business owners, are you using AI? They go, no, but hold up. You got that email. You're in a SaaS. You are using AI. And guess what? They're using your data.
Something I really liked is the emphasis on AI guardrails, right? Why are those just as important as the technology itself, though?
Man, I look at it like this, man. If you don't put guardrails up and you don't put it out there, man, it's like having a house built up, awesome, but I have no windows and no doors, and I'm upset because I can't understand where the breeze keeps coming from. Right? It just goes in and out as it wants to. That's exactly what it's all about, man.
Corey Kirkendoll, he built 5K Tech for 20 years without ever making a cold call. Then the pandemic wiped out a chunk of his client base overnight, and he came out even bigger. Today, we reverse engineer exactly how Corey Kirkendoll grew 5K Tech's pipeline. Welcome back to the MSP Pipeline. I'm your host, Kyle First, and today's guest is Corey Kirkendoll, the founder and CEO of 5K Tech. Corey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here today.
Kyle, glad to be here, man. Thanks for inviting.
Of course. Today, we're going to talk about relationships, sales, AI, and what it really takes to build a business that lasts. So, Corey, let's start at the beginning. You left IBM, Cisco, Dell, safest seats in the industry to start 5K Tech. What made you want to walk away?
Man, I got tired of the hustle and bustle, man, of whether we are going to hit our numbers, wasn't going to do our numbers, on the possibility of being laid off. So I was like, what, that's too challenging for me, man. So, and then I caught that bug, man, that entrepreneur bug. So I had it in me, and I was like, you know what, it just would not die. So I had to go figure out and go try it on my own and say, hey, man, can I do it? Yep. And then 20 years later, man, I'm still doing it and having a great time. So it paid off for sure.
I'm glad to hear that, Corey. Not everyone can say it paid off, but you luckily can. But, you said success isn't about, being the smartest technical person in the room. It's about creating value. So when did that actually click for yourself?
And, I learned that from back in the day of all the places I go through, man. I'm one of those guys that use where you are today to get to where you want to go, man. So anytime you put some education or something in front of me, or I was in the room to learn, I'm just soaking it up. And what you find out is sometimes the guy who's the quietest in the room is probably the smartest guy, because he's taking it in and he's listening, so that when he does formulate a question or does formulate a sentence or a statement, that it makes sense, right? Because he's taking all the information that he has, building it right, leveraging the information and where it goes for. And then that's me, man. As I'm one of those guys that, I say I'm smart, I'm okay, but man, I try to surround myself with as many smart people as I possibly can to challenge me, man, to actually make sure that I'm thinking outside the box. Because when I got it inside my head, it sounds great to me, man. It's like, that is an awesome idea. And then when you speak it, you're like, nah, that's probably not how it should have went, right? So what I try to do, man, is get those ideas out and speak it as much as I can without my trust circle. And they keep me grounded, man, to keep me moving forward and not making stupid decisions.
Of course, right? I mean, did you ever have a moment that almost cost the business? And what did it cost you personally?
Yeah, man. Every day being an entrepreneur, man, is you go down that path, right? People say, hey, man, what's up? I say, if I don't hunt, I don't eat, right? It ain't like I can sit back and be comfortable, man, and say, I'm going to take a couple of days off. I'm going to do whatever it is I got to do. And that check continues to roll in. Benefits are there. And, you're working for someone else. So you have to go do that. And so I think the biggest deal, man, is to learn how to get out of my own way, that I couldn't do everything myself. And so part of that conversation, I had to go through some business side programs, did my MBA, did some things, and I figured out that I cannot be in the business and on the business at the same time. So what I had to figure out is I had to go and learn to delegate, trust others, and then really find a time where I can go and work on the business. And that was a reality. I went through the Goldman Sachs SP10K. And what that taught me was they intentionally took me away from the business for long periods of time. And man, that was freaky, because I was like, man, is it going to work? Is it going to survive? And then when the class was over, I still had a business. And what they said was, how many of you still have a business now that you guys went and graduated from the class? I said, great. He says, great. That means you actually have a business, because if you didn't and you were worried and it wasn't there, then you didn't have anything in the first place. So it taught me, he's like, hey, I need to be able to allow this thing to stand on its own without me, so
Yeah,
that I can go and truly work on the business than to be in it all the time.
definitely. And that's great that you actually realize that at a point, because not everyone also understands you can't just do it yourself, right? But I want to get a little surgical, right? I want to reverse engineer exactly how Corey Kirkendoll grew 5K text pipeline, right? So when did your where did your last 10 clients actually come from, would you say?
Yeah, man. So a lot of our stuff comes from our referral perspective. But we've been
Mm,
doing a lot of marketing and we do a lot of speaking at trades. I believe you got to go be where your clients are. And so what we do is we go out intentionally to their industry events and we speak to them.
mm,
And we don't go and be salesy. We don't go out there and say, here's what we do with 5K, here's what I do. We go
yep.
to educate them on a problem that's in their industry or problem that
Mm,
they're hitting every day. And they just happen to come up at the end of the day and say, hey man, you talk exactly to me. How can we get
yeah.
together and help me solve this issue, right? And that's where I love it is we try to educate. I live on the principle, let me leave it better than what I found. And if I can educate you and get you to a point
Mhm.
and share that knowledge, you're going to be better just for the sake of it, whether you're my client or not.
Yeah, definitely. So you say networking events. Don't you host your own events as well? Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we have some events
Yeah,
that we
right.
host. We go out there and we get into the industry. We go and spend a lot of time walking in front of them because again, that gives us credibility back to them that we're listening and paying attention. Because I want to hear real life stories that we're solving real problems. So when I'm out there
Yeah, of course.
speaking, when I'm out there at the trade shows, I'm out there from that
Hmm.
perspective. I want to let them know that hey, I'm present. That means that
Yeah,
again, it's very important to be present because
of course.
sometimes you're out there and you disappeared and they don't build that trust. But that's the
Hmm.
piece what we love is being present. They see you, they touch you, they know you're there, they can ask you
Yeah,
questions, and that's intentionality for sure.
of course. Networking events, your own events, strategic partners. Like, roughly what percentage from each would you say that you go?
Man, I would say we put a lot of effort, man. I'd say from our industry partners and strategic partners, man, we probably spend 25-35% with them because they
Mm,
also are referral partners as well. Because man, as an MSP, we don't build anything. We rely on our partners. So I want to have that
yeah,
relationship with them to
that's
know
great.
when something's changing and how it is. And the other piece
Of
on the
course.
industry side, man, we probably spend probably 30-40% in those because now
Mm,
we're in the trenches with our ideal customer profile, right? We're out there with the lawyers, with the nonprofits in their
yep.
area, in their space. And so therefore we show them that not only are we the IT guys, we also
Hmm.
understand their space. We can speak their technology and their form of the business as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you say, you throw in your own events, right? Well, what do you think even one costs to throw, right? And like, how many clients actually trace back to that in a given year, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say, we went to this small, intimate boutique style, right? Where we get a certain number of
Hmm.
clients, net new and existing clients to come out and we make it intimate, man. We go to a restaurant, we go to a ball
Mm.
game, and we go somewhere where we
Oh,
can,
awesome.
sit down and socialize, right? And talk
Of
real
course.
things and not kill them by PowerPoint. We may have, hey, let's talk about what it is what we do.
Yeah.
But we want them to get to talk about what their real life issues is in a safe place to be able to go down that path. And I say out of that, man, we probably up front, we wouldn't get much because we wouldn't follow up well. So I learned very
Mm.
quickly to follow up better, right? And that's what we had to learn. So we don't do great in marketing, right? MSPs
Mhm.
say they do great in marketing, they're lying because we all suck at it. But one of the things is that follow up piece is where it really comes
Mhm.
down to is now we're following up, continue to build that relationship because they may not be ready now, but they will
Mm.
be ready someday. Right. And so our
Yeah,
goal is to continue to be there. So when they're ready to pull that trigger or move that switch, we're top of mind and we continue to follow up and move with it.
definitely. And definitely understand that. I'm curious actually, it's like, like a partner sent lead versus someone you meet at an event. How different is the close rate?
So the partner said, Lee, you have no idea, right? It is warm, but
Yeah.
it is not, right? It's
Hmm.
not there, right? And so you have to go fill it out and to make sure that it's qualified for you because they work with various different partners, right? They may not be the small
Mm.
size, they may not can be afforded, they may not can do those things. But when you're at an event and where it comes from, those leads are somewhat warm, but the ones that really hit
Mm.
is the ones you had to go outside of the show floor, outside of the speaking engagement, where you went and broke coffee, had coffee, broke bread with that morning, really got an opportunity to talk to us. So those leads are pretty hot because now you have a intimate relationship on what their pain points in their business, and you have a steady cadence of how you're going to follow up and how you move forward. So it really depends on the partner, really depends on the show. I'd say they're not cold. they're
Of course.
lukewarm, both of them,
Okay.
but some better than others, right? Yeah,
Definitely understand that, but every index needs the failures, not just the wins, right? So
one
you
hundred
said you
percent.
could tell me a number of stories about bad sales hires. Just give me one.
Man, the challenge for me, man, is getting there. And I'm telling her that we're in a relationship business. So my hardest part about on the sales side is that they want to come in and go hard in on the sales and just go in and say,
Mm,
hey, I want to be it. But they also want to be very technical because we're in a technical business.
mhm.
Feel comfortable going in it. And I'm like, look, you don't have to be technical. You don't have to be that side. Go learn about their business. Go build that relationship. Go figure out how that is. And
Yeah.
then leverage the bench to come in and have that technical conversation when it's
Mm,
necessary, right? Not beat them across the head with it right up front. Just doesn't work. And so the challenge is that as we went down those paths, probably the biggest, baddest sales hires, we go through, have those conversations. I'm in the conversation. They're never getting comfortable. They want to have those technical conversations. And I'm like, man, why am I in every sales meeting and closing the deal and paying this dude commission? What's going on here, right? Something's wrong, right? I could do it on the first couple, but damn, we had 5 or 6. This is not working for me. So it's hard to go down that path. So,
mm,
we had to change that up, man. Owner-led sales is probably where we spend the most time. Nobody sells
mm,
a business better than I do. And so what we learn to do is warm them up with the right SDR, making sure we got the campaigns, doing it. So when I go out
mm.
there, we're having real live conversations to move the needle to close the deal from that perspective. But man, if you I don't miss going out there looking for a sales guy. I don't miss going down that path. One day we may get to that point, but right now
Mhm.
I'm not ready. I always tell people that, hey, I used to have an afro. This is what happened after I tried to hire my first sales guy. This is what happens right here, right? So
Oh, that's funny, Corey. I'll give you that. But what would you say that hire actually costs you, right? Is it like just the salary, your own time managing them?
man, so man, it probably cost me. I'd say at the end of the day, man, it probably cost me a good easy 100K to go down that path. If I look at
Mm,
time,
yep.
lunches that they went on, all the training, my time, all the
Mhm,
proposals, all the things we went through, and a base salary, all those
mm,
things, man, I'd say it probably cost me very closely to that, right? Now, moving down that path, man, it's one of those lessons I had to learn, right? So that was the cost
mhm.
of doing business from that perspective. I learned a lot. I learned what we wasn't doing, what we needed to get done. But man, that was an expensive learning lesson, and that I don't choose to make anytime soon.
Like you lived and you learned from it, right? But you've also said, like you said, and then beforehand, it's like you don't lean on email marketing or cold calling. But why doesn't that channel work for an MSP the way people might assume it does?
Yeah, I think it's necessary, but you're going to have many different funnels, right? I don't think it's one thing that's going to do all because
Hmm.
it constitutes how many times I touch you, right? I meet you at a trade show, great. Immediately follow up. Hey, it was great meeting you today. Here's what it is. Let's figure out a time to go do what we got to get done. Oh, you're not ready? Great. We keep it moving. Hey, I'm following up in a couple of weeks. Hey, just want to get this back in your calendar. How's it going? Hey, by the way, this is what's going on in your industry. I
Mm,
remember you talked to me about this. This may be relevant to you. Take a look at it. And I look forward to catching up soon. Just keep it going, right?
yeah.
Be intentional. Follow them on LinkedIn and say, hey, I see that you're going to the National Bar Association event. I'm going to
Mm,
be there. Hey, let's hook up. Let's talk. And do it. Now you're showing that presence. Kind of like I always say, man, I used to hate buying a car. And what you end up doing is you go out there and you look at a car, right? When you have a car, you never see any car commercial, right? I never see them. They never pay no attention to it. But the minute I say, man, I think I want a new car or I need a car, man, I see 9,999 with those things. I could tell you the Hyundais, the Toyotas, the everything, right? And what that taught me is that we need to be top of mind at that point. That they may not be
mhm.
ready to buy that car right now, but when they're ready, they need to make sure that 5K technical services is somewhere in their mind or somewhere in their preview or in their inbox or on its way to
Love
their
it.
inbox so they can know when they want to buy MSP services for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. And like, let's say, right, if I handed you $50,000 today to build pipeline from zero, where does the money even go first?
Yeah. The biggest deal, man, is to go and make sure that We're still targeting where we are from a content perspective of where our ICP is. We may look at another
Mm,
vertical that we may want to expand in and go figure some time in there, but it's making sure our upfront marketing is on point. We got a funnel. We'll continue to go through it, have great follow up and qualification, figure out where we are, where they are, right? And continue that process of how we go through it. Then go back to all the customers that either proposed to us, left us, went to us, where they go, follow back with them because they already know what you do. They may not have been ready at that time or may have had a bad experience, but you continue to follow up and continue to re-nurture those things. And then now with the world of AI, man, I'd probably go and implement, hey, maybe an AI assistant SDR to go make
mm,
those initial calls, right? Get that initial lead going to try to streamline some of those pieces to make sure that we can close it down. But the biggest deal is you can give me all the leads, all you want to. I'd probably spend more time to hone up and get better at my close process, right? If you give me
mm.
1,000 leads and I can only close 1%, I need a lot of leads to get to that point. But if you give me 100 leads, man, and I'm 50% or 10 leads, I'm 50%. Hell, I'm good. I'm in a good spot. So
Yeah,
it's going to be
definitely.
that training and making sure we're on point of how we close them quicker and making sure that we're listening to what the customer is proposing, what our
Hmm.
value is, and make sure that we're focusing on the outcomes is where we probably spend the most of the time.
All right, I like that, definitely. But I want to go back to 2020. The part of the story most people don't ask about, right? You lost a big chunk of clients almost overnight. A lot of restaurant clients who couldn't operate. But what did that moment actually feel like for you in the business?
Man, it was tough, man. We try to pride ourselves on being kind of forward thinking, right? So I was already kind of
Mm,
pushing on, hey, moving to laptops, getting away from that desktop, getting away from those
mm,
things, virtual offices, work remote, doing those things. So when COVID hit, man, it was impactful, right? Because it changed the game. What was great is we were still considered as, the workers that could go out and do things. We were those essential guys, so we could still go do things. But I need to go and protect. Well, it was hard because when we started seeing our customers, our restaurants, some of our hospitality folks, and some of our nonprofits not able to perform because they wasn't there, it was tough. And so it really made us double down on a couple of things, right? How do we ensure we protect us from the next pandemic that goes in? And did it
mm.
really align our processes on as we move forward as we get out? And so what we did was we took that churn and that downtime and saying, hey, we're not having to go out to the network. We're not having a lot of things going on. So let's internally focus on making sure that we got our processes, procedures, onboarding, offboarding, all the operation stuff in key. So when we come out of this thing, we're ready to fire on all cylinders, man, instead of trying to
Yeah.
do it and trying to grow. So we went in and said, hey, this gives us an opportunity to focus, man. So like my mom used to say, man, I made lemonade out of those lemons, right? And that's what happened, right? And so that's what helped us out. So when we came out, man, we were poised, ready to go
Yeah.
target. So we didn't have to go focus on that. So we went full steam ahead to go reclaim, help move forward, and continue to grow. And that's what really helped us from that perspective.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, you didn't just recover, you grew. Now, if you hadn't already built those event and partner relationships before the pandemic hit, you think 5K Tech would actually survive?
Nah, I don't think so because we felt the crunch across the board in every area, right? People being laid off, people not having. There was this whole thing of remote workers. How am I working? How's it not? I don't think
Hmm.
we would have, right? I don't think we would have been in a position to survive because we wouldn't know how to survive. And what it taught me by having those partner relationships and having those close things, it taught me how to pivot. So we knew we had to pivot,
Mm.
right? And we pivot very quickly. And I saw that pivot happening because I saw how my partners was happening. They were talking
Yeah.
to us, they were working with us and saying, hey, here's some things we're shifting on that's going to affect you. We're like, okay, well, we can't keep doing things the way we are.
Mm.
So it helped me understand how to pivot. And I think all the businesses that slow to pivot or didn't pivot, they're no longer around, right? And we would
Yeah.
have been in that same place, right? We just couldn't keep doing business as usual because our environment has changed, right? Our customers have changed. How we need it was changing. And so we had to pivot very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. But what was that actual pivot, if you don't mind me
Yeah.
asking?
So we were very heavily and relied on that touch of customer support, on-site services, all those things that we need to get done, not moving to the cloud. So what our pivot was is, hey, we got to
Mm.
get out of that traditional on-prem situation, knowing what we
Yep.
were comfortable with, moving people to the cloud, being able to really handle supporting remotely, right? And becoming that true business partner consultant to them that says, hey,
Mm.
as you go through this, this is how technology is going to help you get through this as well. So we became that strategic partner to let them lean heavier on their technology versus lighter, because we were one of those things that they want to cut immediately. Hey, I don't need IT. I'm not in that building anymore. Let's get rid of them. Well, you still need us because you still need email, you need security, you need those things. And we say we need to lean into this, because if you don't, when you come out of it, you're going to be in a bad situation or a different color.
Definitely. And everyone's talking about AI nowadays, right? But you've been helping, helping focusing on helping businesses, right? You actually adopt it responsibly. But where do you think most companies are getting AI wrong?
I think they're still using it as they still think it's a fad, right? It's something that's here today, may not be around. It helps me great rewrite an email. It can ask me a couple of questions, plan my dinner. It can, tell me how to do a trip and where it comes from. I think where most businesses get it wrong is they look at it as truly a technical solution and looking at it as a business solution. And that means take a look at the processes in your business today. Are they intact and are they where to go? Where is the waste? Where is the place where I can go and streamline by having digital agents and digital assistants to be able to do some things to take that human capital and move it over? So before I implement anything, let's look at what's working today and what's not working and what can I improve on. Because the question you have is now I'm more productive and I've made AI better. But what do I do with all this human capital that I still have, right? And most people are like, well, do I fire them? No. Think about all the projects and all the things that you didn't have them for. Put them on those bigger, better projects that are more valuable, more margin, right? And go let it work. And let the workers go, the little AI agent do the work, the heavy lifting of that stuff in the weeds and how you continue to move forward. So really transforming and how we're really going to do to take their business to the next level. And I think that's the kind of conversation. They're not having real conversation. They're looking at TikToks and the YouTubes and listen to their partners. They don't really have somebody looking at it from a business perspective to show how really it's able to streamline their business and to really give them a competitive advantage that they've never had before.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you talk about AI pathways. Do you want to break that down?
Yeah, I'm an educator, man. I love to teach. I love to do it. So I believe everything has a pathway to go there. You start at A, you get down there, and then you go back and start over again. And so that's kind of what we do in that process is we teach you how to begin the process and take you through that journey. And then when you get to the end of the journey, we start it back over on the next process and show you how to continue to get big. And it's not a one size fits all. It's custom to your organization because not all are the same. We come in and assess to talk about where you are. We talk about how we govern it from a security perspective. We come in and talk about it. Where does it really make sense in your business? Is it going to be in the cloud? Is it going to be something you need to bring local? What is happening, right? And it's outside of that. There's tools that you've already adopted in your organization that's running AI, right? Everybody at the beginning of this year got brand new privacy policies from all their cloud vendors. Nobody read it. But what that said is we can use your data to train our AI model. But then if you ask most business owners, are you using the AI? They go, no, but hold up. You got that email. You're in a SaaS. You are using AI. And guess what? They're using your data.
Something I really liked is the emphasis on AI guardrails, right? Why are those just as important as the technology itself, though?
Man, I look at it like this, man. If you don't put guardrails up and you don't put it out there, man, it's like having a house built up. It's awesome, but I have no windows and no doors, and I'm upset because I can't understand where the breeze keeps coming from. Right? It just goes in and out as it wants to. That's exactly what it's all about, man. You got to have that opportunity for governance to say, am I using it right? Am I protecting it right? Am I putting information in there that should or should not be in there? I have a responsibility to protect the information that is given to me by my clients, my customers, myself, as well as my employees. I want to guard that. Well, if I don't have any guardrails, people are throwing it into LLMs on the free side, training up their models is all going out there, and all the intellectual property and all the things that I cover the most is just leaving my organization free at will, right? The other piece is that I believe in human in the loop. If you don't know what your processes are, you don't know where it is, you got nobody paying attention, what happens? So we've seen ChatGPT, we've seen Anthropic, we've seen Copilot, they all have been down. Just because the AI is down, that doesn't mean that the work is not to be done. So when it's down, I need a human to say, oh my gosh, something is wrong or something's down, because I have to continue to generate and continue to deliver what I'm responsible for. Right. That's why it's important. Like, you got to know when it's working well, but you also have to know when it's not working well and when something is wrong.
Yeah, definitely. But like, how do you think that AI is actually going to change the role of the modern MSP?
Man, it, it's a game changer. Most
Yeah.
MSPs have challenge with work cases, looking at automations and things from that perspective. I think this is one of those tools that is going to level the playing field, that makes all MSPs be the same, as long as they take it into the accountability of doing it responsibly and how they move forward. The way they market, the way they sell, the way they operate, the way they follow up, the way they produce and covers their clients, it has the potential to change the game across the board. Across the board.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about it.
Right,
let's get into
crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So what we're trying today is we're trying a new segment, right? We're gonna try rapid fire. Let's close it out with this, right? Rapid fire, quick questions, no overthinking. All right. Confident or unqualified? Which one describes a sales hire right before they fail? Don't overthink.
Confident.
Networking event or cold call? Which gets a client faster?
Networking event.
Ballpark. What's your average client worth annually?
Probably about $100,000.
Okay. Your best deal ever. Where did that lead come from?
Current customer. It was a referral. Current customer
nice.
referral.
One thing every MSP owner should stop doing in their sales process today.
Not following up.
Love that. Referrals in 2026, overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
Love it. Fastest way to lose a strategic partner's trust?
Not having a true relationship and following up and being consistent.
Okay. And finish the sentence. Pipeline is built blank.
Pipeline is built by complete strategy, goal, and planning, and knowing where you want to go and begin with the end in mind, right? That's where it's all coming
All
from.
right. I love it, Corey. That's great. So that was great. First time ever doing that, everyone. Just as a heads up, thank you, Corey, for doing that. But this is our last question here today. It's my favorite question. 20 years into 5K tech, if you sat down with the version of yourself who just left Dell, Cisco, what's the one piece of advice you would give him?
Man, I would say, Corey, do it earlier, right? And learn how to get out of your own way faster, right?
All right.
That's how I would do it, for sure.
I love it. Definitely. That's exactly why the shows exist. Pull the real numbers out of a real growth story. Corey, where should people find you at 5K Tech?
Yeah, you can reach me at www.5ktech.com or follow me on LinkedIn as well. I'd love to chat with you. I'm an open book, man. I love to connect with like-minded people and look forward to connecting to all of you.
Love that. That's the episode today. Once again, thank you so much for being here, Corey. Pleasure to have you on. Looking forward to watching this over myself, but we'll be definitely hopefully doing this again soon.
Let's do it, brother. Thank you.
All right, my man.